In this video, I'm going to discuss a feature on the basic measurement screen that allows you to automatically acquire repeat measurements on either a QIS or QDS instrument. This option can be very useful when you are waiting for a part to stabilize or want to evaluate repeatability without having to manually acquire the measurements. To configure this feature, open up the basic measurement screen and either right-click or long press the play button in the top left corner. The simplest way to enable this is to select Repeat N Times, set a number of measurements, and set the wait time in between measurements. I'll set this up to take 3 measurements, and for the sake of this demonstration, I'll use a short delay of 2 seconds, but in practice, you'd probably want something a little longer, like 30 seconds. When I click off the pop-up, you'll see that the play button now turns into a double play button, indicating that we are in repeat mode. If I press the button, you can see that the machine automatically takes 3 measurements. But you'll see that with the way I have the notebook configured, I only see the most recent measurement. So really, what I would like is to be able to see all the measurements and track the overall repeatability and see how similar successive measurements are. So I'm going to quickly create a new accumulator page that allows me to see more than just the most recent measurement. I'm going to click the Page button, then select New Accumulator Page, and then navigate to the page. First, I'll rename the page by clicking Page, and then Rename. Next, I'm going to add a map display to view all the maps. I'll control-click to go into the options and change some of the settings. Now, if I take another set of 3 measurements, you can see that those are added to the display. I'm going to add a multi-map stats tool so that I have a table of all the measurements showing when they were taken and what the RMS error was. I'll then go into the Scratchpad and add the Successive Differences tool so that I can see how similar the measurements are to the previous one. I'll go back to the main notebook page, add another multi-map stats tool, and this time configure it to point to the successive difference maps. Finally, it would be nice if I could graph the RMS of the successive difference maps over time to visually see if the environment is stabilizing. I'll go back into the Scratchpad, select the output of the multi-map stats tool on the successive difference maps, and select the Create Table Graph tool. I'll give it a title, and choose the values to use for the X and Y axes. I'll then go back to the main page and add a graph display tool to show the graph that I just created. Now, let's reset the accumulator page. I'm also going to update the repeat measurement parameters to take 10 measurements so I can better evaluate if the environment has stabilized. I'll then go ahead and start a new set of measurements. Since the measurements are being automatically acquired, and I'd probably want to set a much longer delay than I'm currently using, I could walk away to do another task and come back to the machine after several minutes to evaluate the results. Okay, but since I'm using a very short delay, all the measurements are complete. And if I look at the graph down here, I can very clearly see that the measurements have stabilized. The RMS of the successive differences started out fairly high, around 10 nanometers, but after the 10th measurement, the RMS of the difference map was just around 1 nanometer, which is acceptable for my application. I could then click the Save Maps button and save off the most recent process map. So hopefully this demo gave you some ideas on how you can use this feature in your shop to be more efficient and more easily evaluate the quality of a measurement. If you have any questions on using this feature or some of the more advanced options, please reach out to our applications engineering group.